Today's topic is about the Jewish key to inner calm and overcoming frustration. So, my kids are testing me. You'll see if I practice what I preach. So, but this is the topic, and it's really powerful, and conquering frustration is something that everyone deals with. It's not, there's no one who's a saint. There may be some people that seem a little calmer, or at least I like to say that to myself. There's some people that are calmer, but everyone has been tested. As long as you're alive, you're tested with frustration, with letdowns, with challenges. So this is really the discussion of tonight, how to have inner calm. And we all know that inner calm, less frustration means a healthier person, a healthier you. Your blood pressure is better, less ulcers, and anything else that could happen in your body. It's one of these things. Calmness is a behavior that has direct impact on your body. So we're really going to be talking about finding that inner calm and overcoming frustration. And why am I talking about this? Because we're coming up to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. There's a time to come better and improve. And one of the things we do to improve is we say to God, you are very merciful. Please have mercy. You have mercy on us. Every year we live, even though we're not perfect, and we live, and you give us life, and you feed us, and as my heart's beating every day. There's so much love coming my way every single day. And yet, I'm not perfect. And one of the things we say about God's mercy, there's 13 energies of mercy of God in the world. I'm not getting too into it. But one of them is Erech Apayim. God is slow to be angry. Does that mean that God gets angry? No, these are not physical. God is not a physical body. And the expression of anger can never be translated into human terms the way we think. But this is one of the definitions based on how we live, is that we say, God, you are slow to anger. And what that really means is that sometimes we mess up and there's bad people in the world, and what does God do? He lets them live. Why? Because God says he's human. This is a good kid, made mistakes, done some bad stuff, but you never know. One day this person can return. We had someone here a month ago, Yehuda Price, who was in prison, sentenced to prison for 24 years, and took a turn, and now is a PhD, licensed therapist, unbelievable. And he's like basically a rabbi. Today he works at a rehab, unbelievable, Yehuda Price. So we had an amazing event with him. That's called God giving someone a chance, being patient. And when we say that on Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, that God, you're patient with me, what we're meant to do is actually say to ourselves, that's what I want to be too. I want to be patient too. I want to be also calm and give people time. Not everyone's perfect on day one. It's likely that a kid who's 3 years old will drop things when he opened the fridge, I'm talking about my experiences as I speak. They open the fridge, stuff flies out, it's normal. They're a kid. But it's up to me to have that thought in my head all the time that it's normal. The child needs time. They're in the making. We say this is based on a great rabbi, the writer of a great book called the Alei Shur. And he says that, notice, a child makes a mistake. He's only 3 years, it's 3 years old, 4 years old, 5. He's only 5 years old in the making. That's it. 5 years ago, it didn't exist. We're 25, 35, whatever it is, we are much more years in the making, and sometimes we have expectations of a 5-year-old as if they are like me. They should be thinking like me. Wait. 5 years ago, they weren't born. It's pretty wild to think about. So anyway, this is the topic, is finding that inner calmness and conquering our frustration. Here's a crazy story. In 2006 was the final of the FIFA soccer, football, like I would say, World Cup. And it was a big game. Who was it? France against Italy, 2006. And last minute, 110th minute. Crazy story. There was extra time. 110th minute. The player of the night, who was Zinedine Zidane. He's a French soccer player. And he was finishing his career. It was his last game. he must have played over 800 games, on average. Yeah. It was his last game, last minute. Everyone's coming for him because he's a famous guy at this point, and he was a phenomenal player. He was like the best player of the year for sure for many years already at that point. He was playing for Real Madrid. I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So he's playing for Real Madrid, and 110th minute, he got in a little beef with one of the guys in defense, the Italian player. I wrote down his name, Marco Materazzi. And Zinedine Zidane was angry with him for no reason at all. I mean, he tackled him or whatever, just went head-butted him right into his stomach. The guy was on the floor. Zidane is massive. The player's on the floor rolling, and what does the referee do? Sends him off, red card. This is his final moment. Billions of people are watching this game. His entire career, everyone's is going to remember Zinedine Zidane as a great player and a player that headbutted another player and got kicked off his team and took his team to 10 only. They lost. So one moment, frustration, and look what it can do to you. From now on, everyone knows Zinedine Zidane, he's the guy that headbutted. For years on end. They won't even remember his football so much. They'll remember that story. Silence, no clapping. When he left, no one was... Normally it's a big applause, everyone's clapping, nothing. He just walked off with his head down, red card. This is what frustration and anger can do. When someone's in the wrong moment and he can't control himself, it says in Judaism, you lose your wisdom. You don't have thought. All of your thought goes out the window and you just act. So that's something we don't want. Many things are removed from us, but one of them is our shame. Normally we have shame. The shame goes out. I'm not afraid anymore. Because I'm angry, I lose all of my identity. It says it's like idol worship. Like God doesn't exist. No, nothing exists. All I care about is my anger. And that I completely neglect the entire world. So frustration can really destroy a lot. So we want to find ways to overcome our frustration and keep calm in as many areas as we can. We're human, and that's normal. But at the end of the day, this is the topic. So behaviors, in general, are spiral. That means it's contagious. When you say today, tomorrow it's nah, and the next day it's ha, and the day after it's fa, and then it's all the other curse words, ma, mother, brother, sister, whatever, right? So what happens normally is that when we're angry or frustrated on one day, the next day it grows. It's not that I got frustrated this day and then that's it, it's going to be better. Actually, I'm challenged the next day much more because I already had the habit the day before of that frustration. So if today you're getting upset in a new way because of traffic like you've never been before because you now live in LA, they're fine, as long as they're not crying. And part of my lesson is to teach that I'm practicing what I preach, that I'm staying calm. Anyway, so if someone's frustrated about traffic today, you are more likely in Jewish teaching to be extra frustrated in traffic tomorrow. So it's worth it to avoid the frustration today. Conquer that frustration today. Because if not, tomorrow it's spiral. It's going to be, oh yeah. And then the next day, even worse. And then it's going to go, and then it goes, it's like a whirlpool and it goes wild. So behaviors in Judaism are based on what we will call influence of myself. What does it say in the Talmud? When a person does a sin, does something wrong, the next day does it again, it says, Na'ased lo keita, it comes like as if it's fine. Now it's fine to do it. It's normal. I can do this. This is fine. It's not so bad. There's a great teaching that when you do things by mistake, in Judaism, that's called an Hashem, a chatat. It's a guilt. There's something wrong you did. Even if you did something by mistake, you offended someone by mistake. You didn't mean it. Most times we do things by mistake. In Judaism, that's still a guilt. That needs we need to repent for that. That's a mistake I still made. Why? It was a mistake. The truth is, this is what a great Rabbi Dalshich says, because it's a mistake of today is based on other mistakes of yesterday. Negative energy that I created on myself yesterday or the day before causes things that I do the next day negligently, even if it's a mistake. I didn't mean it, but it's the energy that I created the day before. In Judaism, behaviors are contagious. How does a divorce happen? I don't know. But I would tell you that this is based on meeting couples. And how does it happen? When they get married, they say, I love you, right? You are so beautiful. Would you want to marry each other? Yes. And they look at each other with such love. The gaze in those eyes are so beautiful as they say yes to each other and they get married. And right, so love at the beginning is always the same. But at some point it's like, I hate you. You're the worst. I can't see you. And it's like the worst things come out. Language and words that you've never used to anybody else. How did that happen? The answer is it becomes contagious. It started off with a little pinch on one day, and he said, you look funny today, huh? Or something, a comment. The other side says, yeah? Okay, I would like a nicer, maybe give me a compliment. Oh, sorry, babe. And then he says a nice compliment. So today he called her babe, so that was nice. Then the next day, and then it goes downhill. Do you get what I'm saying, guys? What happens is, by the time they get divorced, they can't look at each other. And why? Because it started off with a little pinch. And then it gets contagious. So that's how behaviors are in life. Behaviors are contagious, they spiral. And it's like that with every form of behavior in your life. It could be anger, it could be joy. Joy is contagious. All behaviors in you, character traits in you are contagious. It's important to know. Because the mistake of today is a bigger travesty of tomorrow, right? When you see a murder that happens or something, it wasn't just then that he did that. That was years of watching stuff, of seeing things, of being influenced until it became what it became. That's how it happens. It's never overnight. Okay, so that's very important to know that we make mistakes and they are based off contagious environment. By the way, that's why it's so important for us to make sure we're in a good environment. If I'm living in some shanty town, I wouldn't care what kind of clothes I'm wearing. Either way, I don't care. I'm always wearing the same suit. So I wouldn't care what I'm wearing because, if I'm living in some place and I have aloe on my pants because somebody else is wearing it, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even try and get it. Like, as long as I have fashion, do you realize how influenced we are by fashion? Clothing and what I'm wearing. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't look nice and you shouldn't be presentable. Based on our culture, we have to recognize what the needs are of our culture. We have to respect that. But at the end of the day, we are so influenced by the surroundings. We don't, whether you like it or not. In fact, the first psalm, the first Tehillim, is Ashrei ha'ish asher lo halach ba'atzat rishayim. Happy is a person that doesn't follow the people that do things wrong. That's not for me. I'm not talking about fashion. I'm just talking about life in general. I don't want to be in that environment. The first teaching in Psalm is I don't want to be in a bad environment. You are so influenced without you realizing by your surroundings. The people around you have a huge influence on us. So that's also, again, behaviors are contagious. You think, I'm being like this because I am, because this is what I really want. It's true. You want it now, but it's because it's been influenced by others. So the first thing I want to tell you is that everybody here, you are a lot calmer than you think. In Judaism, we're taught that Adam was created with light. It says after he did the sin of eating, he was covered with kotnot or, he was covered with skin. And according to Kabbalistic teaching, before he did the sin, he was beaming light. Because the soul, what does it teach me? What's the lesson? The lesson is that inside of you is pure, beautiful energy, God energy. And on the outside it's covered with, it's also beautiful, but it's covering a pure light within. You have a pure light within that's being covered by physicality. And this is a real teaching in Judaism, that we believe that deep down, you are mostly light. That's your essence. What you're covered by is a physicality of skin, but really deep down, or in Hebrew, skin is the letter Ayin Vav Resh, but it's also Aleph Vav Resh, which means light. If you take off Ayin and switch it for an Aleph, it means light. same word. Physicality is what covers us, but really deep down we're all a beaming light. So deep down in everyone here, you have calmness that you don't realize you have, and I'm going to prove it to you. Imagine somebody gave you a Porsche. You're driving it, and your first time in the beautiful brand new Porsche, and you're like, yeah. You're driving it, right? You're doing your thing. Then you get to a traffic light, and it's almost going yellow, but because you're in a Porsche, you stop. Because you want everybody to look at you, and you take your time. I want to stay in this car. So you take your time, you reach, and then behind you is a G-Wagon, and you're sitting there listening to your music. All of a sudden, boom, from behind, someone hits you. You're like, no way, just got this car. No, and you're mad. And then, a few seconds later, you're waiting at the light, boom, another time. Then the light goes green, and you're so busy with your music, boom, another time. This time you get out your car, you find a stick, you look for something, you get out the car, you're like, what the heck, man? What are you doing? You come out.
The first time.
Yeah, the first time. There you go.
Even the almost.
So you run out of the car, you start walking towards the G-Wagon, and all of a sudden, it opens the door. 7-foot tall guy comes out. And all of a sudden, that angry guy that had his Porsche hit drops the stick. And he's like, no, just, itching my head. Suddenly, all of that frustration just goes out the window. Why?
Because your problems are about to get a lot worse.
Your problems are going to get worse. Why else? What's really happening here?
You're being humbled.
You're being humbled. You're being scared. Because right now you came to the realization that your frustration doesn't work. Your mind told you, this frustration is not going to help me. So you were in seconds able to go and push it off. It's amazing. That means that deep down in all of us, we have a purity of calmness that we can tap into if we really want to. And this is the topic that we're talking about tonight, okay? By the way, you're also much more energetic inside of you. Meaning you have fire. The soul is fire too. You have a lot more energy. You saw that, okay, this is a bad example, but the terrorist attack that happened, and everyone should have a refuah shlema, people should be healed, you should say amen. And those that lost family members, they should have comfort. It's a terrible thing. That bus stop is a bus stop that we used to, when we were now in Israel, we were going to regularly, because it's literally a junction between two different neighborhoods, one where Shira's family is, and one is remote. And it meets, all the buses meet there at that junction. So it's mind-blowing. We used to get off the bus all the time with our kids. Thousands of people go on this line and come in and out of the buses on that point. Hundreds of buses, not just one bus is stopping. Anyway, but you see, as soon as there's an attack, it could be late in the day, people are tired. 5 minutes ago, someone might have said, I'm tired. It's been a long day for me. I can't even walk. And then suddenly, God forbid, we should never know about this, but you see the attack and you see old people that can barely walk. All of a sudden, they are running. They're able to run and move fast. So you see that deep down in you, you have a lot more strength when it comes to safety or trying to find safety. You have so much adrenaline, strength in you that you're not even aware of. We have strength inside of us that's so much greater than we think. And we also have in us the ability to control ourselves so much better than we think. We have in us the inner calmness so much more than we think. The soul needs to be tapped into. That's it. But it's all there. Okay. Being slow for God, being slow to angry, the language was used is called Erech Apayim. God waits. Slow to anger. Now, what's an af? Anyone know Hebrew? Af is a nose. Apayim is your nostrils. Okay? I know that some people are going to make a joke of it. But Erech Apayim means lengthening your nostrils. So that's, I was actually on a flight the other day, just on Thursday, and someone said to me, it was a dad that was sitting next to me, and then his daughter was on another aisle seat. I was in the middle seat, of course. So the daughter was on another seat, and his wife was in another seat in front. So I sat next to the dad. It was good. After a whole flight, he asked me, "Is that the Talmud?" I said, "Yeah, it's the Talmud." So he says to me, and we started speaking, and then he says, "But you don't have such a Jewish nose." So then the daughter's like, "Dad!" I'm like, "It's fine, it's fine." I don't get it. I'm totally not. I'm actually fine. I'm really fine. So he's like, "Oh, okay." No. We were very friendly. So Erech Apayim is nothing to do with Jewish nose. It means that God holds his nostrils. When somebody's angry, yes. Do you know why? Because anger, frustration is coming deep from within. And it's expressed in your breathing. By the way, breathing is part of the soul. Breathing represents the soul. Neshama is neshima. Neshama means the same word. Neshama, soul, neshima is to breathe. Breathing is getting to the inner self, bringing it out. So when somebody gets angry, you see it on the nostrils. And someone who's Erech Apayim, someone who's able to lengthen, means they're able to hold their anger. They're able to wait. As opposed to someone who's got Katzar Apayim, which is a short fuse, a short fuse or a short nostrils, which is that they move very quickly. And they get angry very quickly. So that's the definition, literally, of what it means. But Erech Apayim means aruch. Someone who's calm is able to take his time in his breathing, even in challenging situations. And everyone gets that challenging situation. A letter that comes that you didn't expect, someone that's annoying you. Erech Apayim, the first place to have calmness is in your breathing. Remember that as long as you're able to keep that breathing in lengthened, long, you are succeeding. You're following God's path, so to speak. You're being calm, you're waiting, you're being patient. Okay, let's move on. I have some really amazing things. So when I say somebody's really frustrated, what's the first action you're thinking of? Anyone? Throw a word. Someone's really screaming, punching, red face. It's the blood, crying. Huh? Okay, these are all expressions. Smashing stuff, punching, hitting a door. Cursing, that's a big one. Yeah, so all these things, by the way, is already a stage far ahead. That happens to everyone. Hopefully it shouldn't. But those are already stages far ahead of really expressing your frustration. What we're talking about is Erech Apayim, is the internal calmness even before you get to that point. The ultimate level is to be like God, which means patience. Patience. That means that even though something's not working out for me right now, it's not my plan, I have patience. And it's a trait that can be worked on, that a person can achieve, even before all the external stuff. The external stuff already, that's an expression of all the internal, but we want to fix the internal as well, that there's none of it. No kvetching, no cursing, no being angry with the traveling, responding to it. And this is something I'm working on. When I write this class tonight, based on Rav Noach Weinberg, a great teacher of Eish, I'm really thinking of myself. I'm internalizing this for myself. Don't think I'm preaching to anybody besides for myself. I'm sharing with you what I learned today. So, another thing is that what happens when we are frustrated, you know what we do? This is something else. Internally, what we do is we quit. And this happens as well. How many people start a book or dream of starting a book or finishing a book at least, right? And we don't start it even. Or we start it, we don't finish it. Or taking on a new business. How many people said, I'm going to take on a new side business, side hustle, they call it. Or people say, I'm going to try this date again, even though the last time didn't work out, and the last time didn't work out, and this person was an idiot, all the other dates were horrible. I'm going to keep trying. I need to move on in my life. I want to eventually find someone and get married. So I'm going to try it. And then some people say, oh, you know what, I quit. Why do we quit? The answer is frustration. This is one of the big side effects of somebody that gets frustrated easily, is that they are not energetic. They're not active, in putting in their efforts into trying at least, because they always think that the minute it doesn't work, I know that frustration feeling and I can't handle it. So they quit with their life as well. Okay, and that's a big problem. Why? Because it's a lack of patience. I want the result now. I'm frustrated. And then they abandon different projects and quitting. Okay. What's the big problem with someone that quits all the time?
They never get anything done.
They don't get anything done, that's for sure. That's the direct result. What's another side effect of being frustrated and quitting? What's the big side effect? What do you change it within yourself afterwards? Right? If you try school and then you quit, then you try a job, then you quit, then you try this and you quit, and you got frustrated every time, what eventually do you think of yourself in your head? What did you start saying to yourself? I'm a loser. I'm a quitter. I don't have confidence. Right? There's a big gap. This is what Rav Noach Weinberg said. There's a gap of credibility within yourself. I don't think I can't do anything. There's nothing I can really finish. You start telling this to yourself. Okay, so, by the way, why do young people, just coming out of college, I'm going to work, right? They've got the energy, like, I'm going to go, and they're going to, like, take on this job, and AI, and whatever's coming out now, right? I'm going to do this and that. Young people have a lot of energy. They're idealists. Why is it like that? Because they don't have the expectation to finish something yet. They're just starting. So they don't need to, or they don't experience all the quitting yet. So they feel like they're just ambitious. Over time, a person starts quitting in many things. So we want to fix that also and really bring back our self-confidence as well, because frustration leads to a lack of self-confidence as well within yourself. These are all the challenges of frustration. We will continue, but I just want to talk about right now, not tell you how bad it is, but just tell you how to fix it. How can we, how many ways did I write? 7 ways that we can fix our frustrations and be calm, impatient, even in situations when things are not working out. Okay? Way number one is, I can send this to the group after. Don't say the words, I can't do it, or it's impossible, even if it's true and you really think that. Don't say it's impossible. Because if you say it's impossible, you'll believe it. So the external language that you use about your inner self will eventually internalize it that you won't do it. Never say, it's impossible, I can't do it. I am trying. Say, I am working on it. Saying it's impossible just by the words is a problem, okay? A lot of times we actually say that to rationalize ourselves, to get out the effort. I don't want to put in the effort. So you know what? It's impossible. Oh, it's too much work. And it's a way for me to, in my head, to get out of, it's not for me. I personally cannot do this. Okay, so now there are times where you really shouldn't do something, right? There are times where people are passionate about something and they are terrible at it. Music, singing, I'm like, wow, I don't know if this is music to me. Maybe to someone else. Or people sometimes become passionate about things that really are not going to get them anywhere. And that could be very dangerous. Okay, so we need to speak about that. So this is based on Rav Noach's teaching. A person must first calculate how much effort am I going to put into something. I want to finish a project. I want to take on a new skill. I want to learn how to play music. I want to become a better Jew. So you ask yourself, how much time is it going to take? You really make a thought in your head. I'm going to go back to school. How much time am I going to take? Another 5 years? 10 years? Okay. How much effort? Money. How much effort is it going to take me? How many hours a day will I be able to make? These are all calculations that we need to make. And then ask yourself at the end, is it worth the effort? Is it really worth the effort? These are the big questions we have. Now, sometimes a person says, yes, it's worth the effort. And they say, I'm going for it. And then they realize that it's really not worth it. It's costing so much more money than you expected. This job that you were expecting to work for, to try and get, is really costing you so much more than you expected. The effort is much greater, and the result that you're getting in return is not worth it. In that moment when you realize it's not worth it, you're not quitting. You're moving on. That's not quitting. Quitting means you have the potential to do it, it's worth it for you, and it's going to actually give you something. Sometimes God makes us go through this world We all go through this world in different challenges. All of us. But sometimes, eventually we realize that this thing that I invested in is not for me. It's okay to move away. That's not called quitting. That's just coming to the recognition. That's actually succeeding. Coming to the recognition that this is not worth it. There's restaurants that open, especially the kosher restaurants, they open and close. It would be wrong to maintain it opening when it's losing money, it's not making money, and it's in a great loss every month. That means you're losing every month more. Quit now. Well, don't quit. Move on now, right? So quitting is when I know that this is worth it for me, I have the potential, then I'm really a quitter. And in that regards, we need to have our thoughts of, I'm going to keep putting in the effort. I'm not going to get frustrated with the effort. I'm not going to get angry with the effort. This is worth it. You have to continuously remind yourself the reward of the end of the effort, that it's going to give me something. Why am I doing this? This is my passion. This is something I really like. Okay. I can give you an example of dating, because that's something that many people are going through. So dating is a perfect example. What are we doing this for? If I'm doing it just to date, so I can have a companion, that's not enough. I'm doing this because for the rest of my life, I want to build my future. So now, if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to give up. It's worth all the effort, money, effort. Don't complain about the effort. And money. It's worth the effort. Because it's about the future of the family I'm going to build eventually. If you're thinking ahead, is it worth? Of course it's worth it. So the dating is worth it. If you date forever and you know it's not for you, then you got to move on. Okay, you don't quit, you move on. Okay. So number 2 is calculate the time and effort and the result. Is it worthwhile? Number 1 was don't even say the words, it's impossible, I can't do it. Number 2 is calculate at the end, is it really worth it? Okay. Number 3, if it's worth it, don't get frustrated. Okay. Number 3, is it important? Number 3 is it's really important to know that you can complete something. And therefore, take on something in your life if you feel like you can't, you've got that frustration in you and you feel like you've never completed something, finish a book. Say to yourself, there's going to be something I'm taking on. Finish a book. Finish whatever it is, that project, I'm going to do it fully. And make sure that you build within yourself, you bridge that gap. Because we said that the more you get frustrated and you quit, the more there's a confidence issue within yourself. We want to close that gap of confidence and say, this is something I can finish. Okay, so make sure it's something that's not too hard, that you really can prove to yourself you can finish. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4 is, everything, when you fight your frustration, it's in increments. It says that the evil inclination in us, the desire to do wrong in us, always works in small amounts. It says to you, 1 cigarette, what's it going to do to you? But 1 cigarette today, and 1 cigarette tomorrow, and 1 cigarette the next day, for the rest of your life, can actually harm you. But that's how evil within us works. That's how the negative forces, energy within us. 1 cake tonight. By the way, it's spiral, like I said, it's contagious. 1 cake, just a little bit. It doesn't make you that fat. Well, come on, a cake. And then the next day, a cake. You're all looking at me like I should talk to yourself, man. Right? So then a cake. Then the next day a cake. The next day a cake. It adds up to a lot of carbs, a lot of calories. Okay, so that's how our negative force works within us. It says just 1 little bit. It doesn't tell you eat that entire cake, Brucey, right, or whatever. Right? It doesn't tell you eat the entire cake. It tells you 1 little piece. It tells you, from Matilda. It tells you 1 little piece. Not the whole thing. It never tells you to eat the whole thing. Right? This is the voice in you that's like negative energy. So in Judaism, we say also positive energy work like that. Okay? You're going to the gym and you say, I'm tired, man. 5 minutes. I'll do 5 more minutes in the gym. Come on, man. You could do 5 more minutes. Don't say to yourself, you've got to fill the entire hour in the gym because that's what you're meant to do. No, I'll do 5 minutes. That just show yourself you're not a failure in those 5 minutes. 5 minutes more of exercising. 5 more minutes of learning Torah. I'll do 5 minutes of reading in bed instead of going on my phone. 5 minutes, I will actually not get frustrated with this guy. Just 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, no. 5 minutes, I'm going to hold myself from yelling. Okay, I'm going to try. This guy's really annoying me, but for 5 minutes, I'm going to hold myself from yelling. That's also success from a Jewish perspective. Okay, so increments are very, very important when it comes to growth and fighting your frustrations and being calm. Just say, I'll be calm for 5 minutes now. I'll be calm for 10. You'll see that within time, it's contagious. Tomorrow, you'll do it for 10 minutes. The next day, 15. But when you look at yourself, you say, I have to be completely calm from day one, it doesn't work. Okay, so growth happens in increments. Number 5 is that we need to know that life is a challenge. Life goes like this, right? That's how you see a heartbeat. It's like this. If you see this, what happens? Right? The guy's dead. Life is like this. That's what life is. It's a challenge. Music is up and down. If music was, that's not music, right? That's a shofar. No, it's like, right? You got to go up and down. Music is when the music changes. It goes high and low, and it's a rhythm. It has unity of changes. That's life. Okay, so that's what we need in life also. Life is challenge. What does it say in Mishlei? Sheva yipol tzadik b'kam. A righteous person falls and gets up. Falls and gets up. What does a evil person say? A wrong person say? I fell, I'm staying down. Keep getting up. Don't get up. Right? A righteous person always gets up. And we're talking about doing wrong things that I shouldn't be. In Judaism, it says that whatever challenge you get thrown at you, it will never be a challenge you can't handle. There's a teaching in Psalms which is that God throws down ice breaks them down into small pieces, like crumbs, and they are cold. No one can stand in front of it. Rashi says, what's going on here? The commentary says, no. When God throws down ice onto earth, he makes a calculation of how much the people on earth can handle. Not everyone can handle that cold, so it does it in small pieces. I mean, in Judaism, we look at the weather as a lesson of how the world integrates for me. And that tells you that the challenges you face in this life that you're in are never challenges you can't handle. God never puts you in a challenge you can't handle. You can win it. Okay? And spiritually, you will always win. Spiritually, there's no such thing as having a challenge that you can't win it. That means if you spiritually really, really want to overcome frustration, you can do it. The Talmud says, if you say, I tried, it didn't work, we tell you, you didn't try enough. Spiritually, you didn't try enough. When it comes to spiritual growth, you have no idea how you can succeed. And in Judaism, we have a tradition, you will always win. Okay, so life is a challenge, accept that. And number 6 is, do you know how to stop frustration? Adding more joy into your life. Joy is poretz geder. Joy in your life breaks boundaries, breaks gates. Listen to this. If I told you that we're walking, let's say you're walking here, and someone comes up to you and steps on your toe, and it hurts. What would you say? Hey, dude, what's up? Right? What happens though if today was a day that you won a tremendous amount of money, and then someone steps on your toe? You'd be like, no worries, I got you, man. My toe, I'm good. All right, you're just happy. When somebody's happy, you're able to cope with a lot of frustrations. So joy is an enemy of frustration. Frustration goes together with depression. It's not that because you're frustrated, you became depressed. No, frustration eventually is the opening to depression. If somebody's able to overcome his inner sense of, I am blessed, gratitude, life is good, there is a lot of good in my life, I have a lot of blessings, then all the other things fall apart. The frustration doesn't matter as much. You can have 2 people in the same job. One's complaining all the time, one's happy. How? Because one's able to internalize joy in his life, which is gratitude, recognizing that I'm blessed, I have a family, I have a life, I have whatever it is. I have a job, I have an income, it's not major, but I'm not thinking of that. It's all a perspective. Machshava is in Hebrew, the word for joy. Simcha is machshava. Same letters. Simcha Liot besimcha is the same letters as machshava, thought. Joy is a thought. If you're able to internalize that joy, you can overcome the frustration of traffic, of annoying co-worker, whatever it is. Okay, that's number 6. Joy is your enemy of frustration. So add joy into your life. Go out, be healthy, go on a jog, right? What happens when you're in the sun and you come home? Your energy is so much better. You're able to cope with the frustrations of life a little more. And we know, like we said, like the guy in the car, in seconds you can switch your frustration and be calm when you recognize it's not going to help you. So the way to do it also is just add joy in your life. Joy will break any form of frustration. And the number 7 is, don't worry, it's fine. Number 7 is enjoy the process. Enjoy the frustration. Enjoy it. Embrace it. We are willing, everybody here is willing to pay for frustrating moments. People pay for a 1,000-piece puzzle. Think about it. I would pay for a 1,000 piece. That's a frustrating moment. What happens if I open a box of like a really hard puzzle? It's got 1,000 pieces in it. I open the box and it has numbers. This is 1, 2, 3. Would I be happy or would I be like mad? This is ridiculous. It's got all the numbers and I know exactly how to put it up together. That's not the point. I want that challenge because that's part of my fun. Anybody who's good at sport will tell you, any famous Olympic player, sports, soccer player, anyone, they will all tell you that they found joy in the sport itself. Not always, they had challenges, but they found joy in the playing, in the training, in the work of getting there. That was their joy also. So a person must recognize that we are in this world, and the more challenging something is, many times, that's actually what's going to give me. That's what's going to give me a blessing. If you're facing a frustration, you're facing a puzzle. That's what you're facing, and enjoy every moment of that challenge. I'll finish with this amazing story. It's hard to believe. In the 1930s, the vice president of IBM, 1930s, right at the beginning of his company, and they already had a lot of investment money. And he made a decision to open this new device or whatever it was. It costed the company $1 million. In that time, 1930s, a tremendous amount of money. And guess what happened? It failed. The whole $1 million of investment went down the drain. Immediately after, he was called into the main office to sit together with Thomas Watson, the founder and CEO of IBM. And he sits with him, and this guy is shaking, and he knows that that's it, it's over. And he says to the CEO, Thomas Watson, I assume that this meeting is to inform me that my position is over. So Watson looks at him, smiles, and is calm. And he says to him, fire you? Fire you? I just spent $1 million on your education. I'm not going to lose you twice. Instead of punishing, Watson chose to strengthen his vice president, and he saw the mistake not as a loss, but as an investment for him to learn more in the future. That was the hallmark of IBM's company, which made it succeed to become what it became, which is, mistakes are not the end, but it's a starting point for growth. Sometimes the biggest mistakes you make in your life are also your best investments. Because of that mistake, you learn something that someone else will never know. And that's an investment. And it really depends on you and the leaders that are in front of you. You are your own leader. Depends on you. How do you look at it? My point is that every time you face a frustration, if we look at it in the right way, we could see it as an investment, as a puzzle, as a way to grow. And that is really the way that we will succeed and have inner calm. So here's how we fight frustration and have inner calm. Never say the words, I can't do it, it's impossible, it's too much. Calculate the time, effort, and result. Don't just blindly do stuff. Really calculate, is this going to be good for me? Is it worth it? Am I putting it? If you quit, it's not quitting. You're leaving that position because it's really not working out. It's important to complete at least one hard thing in your life that you actually are proud of, that you can complete. And you should do that often. There's always something that you need to aim to finish. For me, I'm studying Torah all the time, so it's always like a Talmud I need to finish, a page. I feel good that day when I know that I accomplished something. Growth happens in little bits, in increments. Okay, so the way you keep calm, overcome frustration is in 5 minutes. Not by saying, I'll just not be frustrated. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you'll see eventually you'll win. Number 5 is life is a challenge. That's part of life. You have to understand that this is life, that it's challenging. But that's how life is meant to be. God will never put you in a challenge you can't overcome. And spiritually, every challenge you have, you can win it. Rabbi Noach has a great quote. Quitters never win, and winners never quit. Winners never quit. That's why they win. Joy is the enemy of frustration. Number 6, joy is the enemy of your frustration. Just by adding joy in your life, gratitude, getting out, being proactive, externally, joy will eventually affect your frustration. And number 7 is enjoy the process of your frustration. Enjoy it. Look at it as a puzzle. As a puzzle, yeah, it's frustrating, but that's what you paid for that box. You paid for that 1,000-piece puzzle because you want the frustration to build it, to make it. That's what will give you joy. When a person builds a house, it's a lot of putting things together, but how does he feel after? That's part of life. We are here to build and create, and it's frustrating. But if it wasn't, if it was all done for me, then it wouldn't. And by the way, I've got a nice idea. We have ChatGPT and AI nowadays. It can help a little bit, you know? But overall, this is the message, that when we add more calmness to ourselves, we're being more godly. When we're more patient, we're being more godly. That's a godly person. And we want that in our lives. So anyway, my blessing to everyone here is that you should never be frustrated. No one should ever bother you and make you frustrated. But if they do, we should have the power and the tools to overcome and be calm and push forward with life. Life is challenging. It's not always easy. But push forward, accept it. That's part of who we are. We are alive, we're pushing, and we have to do it. This is our mission. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are there any thoughts, questions? Too much frustration? Yeah. Well, okay. Well, sometimes, sometimes I use the excuse, like I have so much going on that's why I'm frustrated. Or we excuse our frustration sometimes, All my kids are driving me crazy like right now. And it's frustrating, but that's a blessing. How many people are begging to have children or would love to have a family, would love to, right? So sometimes that very thing that you're frustrated about is a bracha, it's a blessing. You're annoyed that the car is slow or it's not fast enough, but you have a car, that's a blessing. Anyway, guys, we're finished, but anyway, who wants to ask? Yes?
We're blessed to have the problems we have.
Right.
So what happens when we're feeling frustrated? How do we manage to shift our perspective? Because it's not so easy in the moment.
Right.
How can we do so? What's some suggestions that you might have?
Well, like I said, it's a lifetime of work and overcoming it bit by bit. Frustration is going to happen and it's not going to be easy. That we all fail in this regard. Moses failed in frustration. He got frustrated and he messed up. One time, the Torah says that Moses was frustrated and he forgot his wisdom. He forgot a teaching that he was meant to teach. So this happens to everybody. The question is, are you going to start working on it now? And that means 5 minutes. 5 minutes today. I'm frustrated, but I'll wait for 5 minutes before I say something. Okay, so that's already... where's that noise coming from?
It's Rivka.
Oh. It's the kids' phone. It's the kids' phone. House. Oh, Rivka. Okay. One of my kids' friends. I never use that phone. It's my kids' phone. What are the odds? Rivka. It's a pretty Jewish name. Okay. But I think 5 minutes. I'm being real. This is something that like I said, this class is for me. I'm sharing with you what I'm learning for myself. 5 minutes is one way. It's because it's contagious. Then tomorrow you'll see you can do 7, you can do 10, you can do more. Bit by bit we become great. It's a lifetime of work. Yes?
Would you say then that you have to like constantly make yourself aware, like, okay, don't be frustrated in like any future scenario, like just constantly reminding yourself all day, or is it like more like?
So at first it'll have to be much more consciously thought, but at the end of the day, over time, and when I say consciously, you're weighing in the, look, it's not healthy for me, this is not healthy, right? This is the thoughts you should have. It's like, this is really unhealthy. My heart is pumping, my blood pressure. Well, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, get frustrated about every small thing. I can't live. The traffic, the this, the that, everything's, I'm cursing about everything. I'm very against cursing, by the way, because it's an external expression that internal, it has an impact on your internal thought. So it's a curse now, but it's an impact on your inner thought. And by the way, if you did curse out, whatever, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm against it because it's an expression over time. So that's why at the beginning you have to consciously think about it. This is not healthy if all day long, everything that doesn't work out, I'm getting really frustrated by it. It's not so that's called conscious thinking. Well, it's not healthy for me. It's removing my thought. It's not professional of me. There's many things. And then eventually you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this 5 minutes. I'm not going to scream at this person that's driving me nuts. 5 minutes. And then eventually it's a growth. It's like a gym. It's a lifetime of work. It's not yeah.
I saw a Netflix documentary that talks
Please.
about replacements for curse words and how they have the same effects on your brain as regular curse words. Like if you use like frick, it gives you the same mental effect. Like,
I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I very much agree with that.
They say it's like a positive thing.
Well, I'd say that what we were saying of Erech Apayim, because some people have this theory that get a punch bag, you're angry, get the kid a punch bag, put him in a room, and let him just take his anger on the punch bag. But at the end of the day, the anger remains, and you're feeding it. And I don't want to feed it one bit. I want it to be that I'm Erech Apayim, chill. That's the goal. So I don't care how you express your frustration, but the chill factor's not there, and I want it bad. That's godly. Does that make sense? The patience, Remember I said right at the beginning.
Like the positive, whatever. I have the Hebrew in my head.
Like you stub your toe and you say Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, something like that. Not that we're happy about it.
I like that actually. I'm going to use that from now on. I like that. Stop your toe, you say Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Adam, what were you going to say? Oh. So I was, behind you, Adam. The Sephardic one. I was going to say that originally I said in my class that the whole point of this talk is not external. The guy that's smashing the door, breaking the window. That's already, I wouldn't say lost cause, but that's already extreme. I'm talking about the internal feeling in your heart. Did your heart pressure change? That's my question. I don't care how you express it. I'm just saying that when someone does curse every time something doesn't go well for him, there's an expression of allowing that internal frustration to be expressed, and I don't want it. That's my goal. Okay. Yeah.
So you gave the example of seeking joy, but in your experience or in your view, what else? What other motivator is there to keep going and to not quit?
So happiness is a whole talk. It's another whole class. Joy is a whole job in itself, but adding joy is gratitude. It's part of the same language in the other direction of frustration. Frustration is cursing, letting that thing that doesn't work out for you be expressed. It's impossible, it's not possible, I can't do it, or whatever it is. And changing the language to language of joy. Thank God I have a job. Thank God I have friends that helped me got to this point. Thank God. So expressions of joy come from gratitude. So I would say gratitude is a very big key to fighting frustration as well. Because that's part of, see, joy is a whole class in itself. Joy is a very one short thing, but it's a whole talk in itself.
Is frustration like always a bad thing? I feel like sometimes it just means you care about something. Like
Yeah,
you're not
very good.
like something like that is happening. Like I don't want to just be calm and not frustrated. Like I feel like
Right.
sometimes it just makes you.
Yes, very good. In Hebrew, the word anger in Lashon HaKodesh, in the biblical terms, is called chema. Chema comes from the word to be heated. And heated means that you care about something. Why are you heated about it? Because you care about it. So yes, frustration is comes from a good place. These things are not bad, but I'm talking about frustration in an area where you stop belittling yourself. See, frustration is important. I'm not talking about apathy. Being chill and calm is not someone who's apathetic, sitting on a couch, doing nothing all day. He's frustrated. That guy on the couch is frustrated that he's not done anything with his life. He's a quitter. Right? Frustration includes, like I said, a puzzle. That's frustrating. But the approach is, I need this. Right? The approach to this frustrating puzzle is, this is what I wanted. This is what I paid for. So let me enjoy it.
Like how you channel it.
Exactly. For all of these behaviors that we're talking about have to be channeled. They're not bad or good. They just have to be channeled in the right direction. Okay? Anger is something which is pretty bad, but frustration, let's say, or anger channeled in the right way is necessary to show you care about something. Maimonides actually says anger is one of the only things that you have to completely disconnect from. It has no good to it. He says maybe sometimes to show someone that you're bothered more than, but never let it be internal. But even frustration is a sign that you care about something. That's definitely true. It's a good point. It's important to be aware. Yes? Yeah, Adam.
Is accepting your frustrations a form of quitting? Say you're in a situation that's very frustrating, you can't do anything to change it. The only way to get rid of that pain and that frustration, that stress, is to quit and give up.
Depends. Like I said originally, there are times where you realize that it's not worthwhile anymore. Let's say you invest in a business and you put in a tremendous amount of money, you order the equipment, then there's a change in tariffs, right? That's a good, perfect example. Change in tariffs. Sorry for getting political here. I always said I'll never do it, but I just did it. So then you change in tariffs. So now you see that it's nothing to do with you, okay? So that frustration needs to be completely, you have to move on. I mean, you have to understand that this is okay. Sometimes if you're frustrated, you'll continue to fight something which is impossible. The restaurant that's not selling food and is in a minus, right? It's on a deficit, it's losing money every month. And he says, no, I'm going to keep trying. But you're losing thousands every month. So that's not called quitting. It's just being realistic with the fact that this isn't working. Basically, a person needs to ask himself, is it worth the effort? Is it worth the time? And is it worth the result of what I'm getting? If any of those fall apart, then you walk away. That's not called quitting. It didn't work out. Other things happen. Circumstances externally, originally your thought was good. But external circumstances is part of God's plan. He wants you to be challenged in this world, in this area. External circumstances have now impacted your plan. And it's changed. The right thing to do would be to walk away and not let the frustration get you.
He wants to see you adjust.
Right, so yeah, adjust. Doesn't mean you quit. Quit would mean go to the couch and do nothing for the rest of the year and be depressed. But that's a very important point also. Yeah. Okay. I think we're done. Oh, yeah.
One last quick one.
Yes, one last question. Yeah.
By the way, if any of you need to go, the class is officially open.
Yeah. Some people actually enjoy what I have to say.
Yeah. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
What about anger as fuel to do things? Like I'm doing something out of anger or out of spite.
Maimonides says that that's very bad. The only time you should use anger is I'm talking about real anger, is to make an impression, to shock something into system. Like sometimes your kids are being like really, really, like they did something really bad. They went to your neighbor's car and shot it with a pellet gun or whatever. And you're like, that's what I was. Okay, so you shot your neighbor's car with a pellet gun, and then the parents want to give you an impression that this is really wrong. Do they love you deep down? Yes. Are they still connected to you? Yes. But because they love you, they're going to add on an impression of anger to make you realize that this is something I really shouldn't have done.
There's a phrase in this.
Can I use that as a? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there's a phrase in this for Hebrew when it comes to like specifically disciplining your children. You do it with not doing it in anger, but doing it out of love so they don't do it again. I don't know exactly how it goes. משהו סנה ברו. hold on.
מתוך אהבה. I don't know.
My was that.
ירדן, מה המילה בשביל זה?
When you punish your kid, you have to like hit them not out of anger, but like.
No. But sometimes you should but you should express. Yeah, so you should express that you really are bothered by this. There are times in terms of education where you need to show that this is really bothering. So you express a form of anger, but inside there's none of it. And it's a dangerous fire to play with. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, we should all stay calm at all times.